Hey everyone, welcome back to Envy Board Gaming. I'm Nick.
I'm Vic.
Today we're joined for the top 10 with some friends of ours. Can you tell us people who you are?
I'm Allison.
And I'm Bryce.
And we're Better Half Reviews.
Yep, these are our friends. They're going to join us for a top 10. And we've done this once on their channel as well. We did best like two-player type games that we both did a top 10 as a couple. So we had 20 games there. Well, we had a crossover there too. We'll see if we have any today. Let you guys start with your number 10. Today's topic is going to be games that you want to get into the hobby. These are the games you want to buy. Our top 10 list for that. You can also call it a gateway. I feel like that's similar. What are you thinking? What do you think of number 10?
Well, first off, we combined our list together, and it was very hard to make it into a top 10. So
our top 10 isn't in any particular order. We like all these games.
Let's go.
And they're all just as good. So at our number 10, we have Pandemic. So I don't know. It's a classic game. We met over this game. It was kind of a gateway game for both of us. It's a great cooperative game. So it just had to be on our list as a great game to have in any collection.
And there's also lots of different ways to play it too, with different expansions.
That's a fun game. We enjoyed it. That was one of the first games that we played together when we got into the hobby as well. We didn't meet playing it. That's ultra romantic. But we did play it together and enjoyed Pandemic ourselves. Our number 10 is Timeline. I had great success playing it with my family. They are not gamers. They do not enjoy playing games. It's like pulling teeth to get them together to play games. So having them actually want and ask me, hey, let's play that card game with the dates on it. I go, I can't believe it. And it's such a simple game to learn, really. And nobody's an expert. Nobody really knows all the dates of these topics. It's crazy if you do. And you get to learn something. So I gave Timeline our pick for number 10.
Yeah, some of them are really, really difficult. It depends what pack you get. Some of them you're like, you get the roundabout idea, but some of them are rough, man. It makes you feel dumb.
Yeah. Whoa.
I haven't actually played that one. I've heard of it, but never looked into it.
Okay.
So our number 9 is a very cute game. It is Takenoko. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a simple tile-laying game, and it has an adorable little panda and a little gardener. And I love introducing this to people who, aren't necessarily gamers, and it's not too complex, and it's, it's cute and simple. You roll dice, you have different choices, and you're growing up bamboo, and you can move the panda and have the panda eat the bamboo. And as a house rule, whenever the panda eats the bamboo, you have to make a sound. So yeah, it's just like a very approachable game, and it's worked pretty well with families, and I like it.
Yep.
It's a pretty cute game too, and that was a popular game. Both of you guys are very popular. I have another popular one for number 9. I think it's the most popular. It's Codenames. Codenames it gets people into the hobby. I feel like it almost got me in the hobby. If it wasn't for Castles of Burgundy, it just kind of leaped more people with me. My good friends also joined me into that hobby a little bit by playing Codenames. It's a good semi-co-op. It's usually 2-on-2, but you can do 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. I like it best 2-on-2. I think it works the best because you don't have any bickering. It's just you and your partner. You decide. Also, Codenames Duet. If you just have 2 people, Codenames Duet's fantastic. I like it myself. This isn't a list of Nick's favorite games. This is what I think for other people. Codenames Duet I like better than Codenames, but definitely if you're just getting the hobby, try Codenames. I think it's going to go over very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't tried Duet. I think that would be interesting because usually we're playing 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
And Codenames, that's often a game, like when people hear that we're board gamers, they're like, oh, have you played this game called Codenames? So It is a game that non-gamers know very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Nick, you might be happy for this one. Our number 8 is Race for the Galaxy.
Woo! Woo!
So this isn't necessarily a gateway game, but I feel like it is a great tableau game to have, and just one that I couldn't see not being in our collection.
You defended that one,
to get her to play it with me.
Remember when we said it was hard to put our list together?
Yes, this is one you got to give up.
Just kidding. It was other games too, but yeah. So
there was a lot of compromise on our list.
Yeah, we had to do the same.
I thought about it. I thought about adding race when I put my list together because of the fact that there's an app that you could learn in your spare time, but ahead of going to game night, you could really learn it.
Good, if you want to.
Yeah, so that was something that came to mind for me as well. It's such a fun game.
And it's like a modern classic, so I allowed it.
All right, it's me for number 8. My number 8, our number 8. Let's see. We should mention where we rank these things, but actually, our first of our list, we didn't have any crossover, so we don't get any crossover till we're over here in the top 3, 4. So a lot of different. We could have did our own top 10. You guys could have did your own top 10s. We could have had 40 games, but a lot of compromise. So
we like speed rally.
Yeah. Our lists were very different. There was only 3 crossover.
Exactly. I think that's what ours was.
Yeah.
Number 8, which was on my list, it wasn't on Vic's. So if I'm reading them, that means it was on my list. If Vic's reading them, it was on her list until later, and then we agreed with some. Number 8, Space Base for me. Easy game. You can explain it to a lot of people. It's not complicated. You roll dice, you see what you get, but there's some tactics there. What you want to go for. Obviously the 6s are most common or something and powerful. 1 through 6 are gonna actually 2 through 6. At least is a possibility, cumulative and by itself. So there's some tactics there. You're not just gonna go for 12s because they're the best, because they're less likely. There's some things going on, and it's nice when you do get that 12 and it lands, obviously. But it's very easy to explain. As I'm explaining it to you guys, you pretty much know how the game is. You roll dice and trigger things off. Other things will go behind your board and things will get pushed. You get a little engine kind of going. Very easy game. Fun game. I recommend it if you're just getting in the hobby.
Yeah, and who doesn't like to roll dice too? It's such a common mechanism for people, and it's fun to shake them up and blow on them for good luck, drop them, and then they have that card of you win, where you could try to do a Hail Mary and somehow land that, which I've heard. Yeah, you did that.
Me too.
I had like a chain of like
I meant
of the move over cards.
Yep, that's what I did.
And then I had the put a charge on another card.
Yep. That's how I won. Same thing.
Combo.
Combo breaker.
Yep. Yeah, that game's definitely fun. And then if you get all the expansions, you have all the different colored dice. So it's like, I don't know. I love all the colors. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. So number 7 is Catan. So I know that this one, a lot of gamers they either love it or hate it or whatever. And it's one of those that is just a classic and will always have a special place in my heart. And it's easy to play. And yes, there is luck with the dice rolling. But, it's just a classic that everybody knows about, at least somewhat. Even if they don't play games, they heard of Catan. And yeah, so, I sometimes house rule things with the robber, but I've played this a lot. And this is one of the games that I played prior to really diving into the hobby.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that this was their like gateway game, and it's partially my gateway game as well. There's a couple of them, but so it just had to be on our list. It's a good gateway game. It's classic, and it is pretty fun to play.
Yeah, I've got friends that don't like that. They say, I don't like board games, but I'll play Catan. Oh, okay, you do like games. I've noticed that they will own that game. It is very mainstream, definitely a gateway game. Good one to have in the collection.
Yep.
My number 7 is Gizmos. Nick and I have played this a few times. We mainly have played it online. Haven't yet got the physical version, but the online version is good in its own way on Tabletop Simulator. Really good script. If you own Tabletop Simulator, check it out, because the designer that put that script together did a real good job. And even there's music at the end, which is really fun. I'll let you discover that yourself and see what kind of music that is, because I'm not a songbird. But Gizmos is a great introduction to engine building, and it is so fun to be able to trigger off combinations of cards and have people really enjoy that concept and see how that they can play it in future games. Because once they understand that, then you could really introduce them to other engine building games, I think, with that. And the colors are fun, little marbles, always a good time. And so we've enjoyed Gizmos, and we have it at number 7.
Nice.
Is that the one where people take pictures of the little marbles and they have like little air bubbles in them? They look really cool.
It could be that or Potion Explosion, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not sure which one, but
either one.
I like
marble game. Gizmos is better though.
All right.
We'll have to go try it. We haven't played that one. So our number 6, we had to add a Red Raven game to our list because we love Red Raven games. And so number 6 is Near and Far.
Nice.
It's not the easiest Red Raven game to get into, but I feel that there's a lot of replayability. I feel a lot of people can get into it. So that's why it had to be in our collection.
It took a while to debate which one it would be, either like Above and Below or Near and Far. But yeah, we went with that one because there's just so many more options to play the game.
I agree. That would be my pick too.
Yeah, it didn't even come to mind for us, but really we were able to deploy it, and others actually ended up, friends of ours bought it and have started playing it with other people that are new to the hobby as well. So it had a domino effect of gateway.
Always good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So
I like all the different modes it has. So you could play like a campaign mode, or you could play one-off. Character mode. And I do like it with the expansion, the Amber Mines expansion, because it just adds a little bit more depth to it. But
for sure.
We agree, definitely a great game.
All right. Number 6 for us is Tiny Towns. This one worked very well with 3 and 4 players. 2 players, take it or leave it. I don't really like it as much, but if you have 3 or 4 players, Tiny Towns is awesome. It's like bingo without the suck. It's really good. You pick the color, or you pick what color you're taking for resources, and you're building out buildings. You have this, what is essentially, you're calling out stone, or if you want to just do the colors, we just do colors, gray. So everyone has force to take gray and put it on their board, their domino board, we call it, where they have a grid. And they have to make combinations to build out buildings, and you got to be do it tactically, because you can crowd your board with resources that don't produce buildings. So you're starting to clutter things up. It's a great game. It's easy to teach, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the adjacency rules are really interesting, and the special buildings that other players will have that give them different scoring as well. So I've made a lot of mistakes in that game, but I'm trying real hard to do well.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun game.
When we play, we kind of get vindictive, and we just start calling resources that we know the other person won't use.
Yeah, we do that. That can happen.
But we found that if we play 2-player, it works better for us if we do
use the solo deck where you shuffle, you flip over a
That's
resource, play that, flip over another resource, and then the third card you use it as a builder's choice, and that way it kind of mitigates the meanness.
Okay.
We got that from the AEG live streams of Tiny Towns. That's how they do it, to play with like tons of people.
And we really liked it that way.
Huh.
So if you're looking for like a 2-player variant, that might work.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So number 5 is Splendor. So this one is also like a pretty popular gateway game. I know there's the Century Spice Road, which, kind of divides the fan base of either game. But we've played Splendor, and it's been a great game to introduce to other people, and it has those really cool like poker chips that are kind of heavy, and they're all different colored gems, and it's a good way to kind of get that engine building going without a whole bunch of like stuff going on board and all that. So you're collecting cards, and you're trying to like use those cards to appease rich people to come look at your collection of jewels. And so it's pretty simple, but there's lots of different strategies to go for. And there can be some take that if you want it to be that way, but it's just, a pretty chill game, and it doesn't play, or it plays pretty quickly. So Splendor.
Right on.
Yeah, our number 5 is Stone Age. It's often mentioned, you hear a lot of people talk about it as an entry to resource collection, worker placement. I have a lot of fun with it. There's some math, so that you have to kind of do some multiplication, division. Okay, if I bring this many people here, I'm going to get this much of this resource, and you can only get so many pieces of gold, depending on how much the value is that you've rolled. I really like it. I think it's pretty cute, and it's just an altogether really good introduction to worker placement, I think, for players to learn. And there's a cup that's made of leather, or I guess it's pleather. and it really, I enjoy putting the dice in it, shaking it up. That's
And
something.
some editions, it really smells bad.
I've heard.
So that's our number 5.
That's one of those games that we've really been meaning to try. And I almost bought the anniversary edition, and then I didn't. And then the price for it skyrocketed, and I'm like, we'll just wait.
It's a very good game. This was our first crossover for Vic and I.
Nick bought 2 by accident. That's how much he likes it.
Well, you can. We need one.
I sold it already.
He ended up getting rid of it, but he forgot he already owned it, I guess. And
I bought it about the same time. Like, oh, I did buy it on the sale. Oops.
That's when you know that you're a true board gamer.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
So our number 4 is our party game that we kind of like introducing to people who are like code names, or it kind of fits into that category in my opinion. And this is Sushi Go Party. So this is a fun little like set collection game where you take a bunch of cards that are different types of sushi, and you choose one, you pass the cards until the cards are all gone, and you kind of count up your points and see who wins.
You forgot to mention that all of the cards are absolutely adorable.
They
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Sushi, but I love Sushi Go Party.
Right on. Only played it once.
Number
Oh,
4.
I don't think I played it.
Yeah, no, I've only played it once.
Yeah.
That was it. Our number 4 is going to be Camel Up. Really fun game. You're racing camels, but you're not one of the camels. You're just betting on the camels, and you're trying to influence that camel to either win the leg, lose the leg. You're betting on rounds. You're betting on the race's outcome, the biggest loser, the biggest winner. You're throwing little traps on there. You can get +1s, -1s, getting coins. Whoever has the most money at the end is the winner. Easy to explain. Really fun game. Really, really fun game. Even if you're a big-time heavy board gamer, this is still just an in-between game. When you're done with one, still going to take you like maybe half hour. You're going to want to play it twice, actually. And it's going to start maybe eating some time because it's so good. Because you're maybe play it 3 times. It's so fun. It is really fun.
Yeah, we
So
like it.
easy pick.
It has a nice pop-up palm tree on the 2nd edition. The newer one has a 3-dimensional element to the board, so it has a great table presence for new players. When they see that, they go, "Oh, games can look like that." And so it's pretty neat that way.
That one has been on my wish list for a long time, and I just need to get around to it. There's like
Yeah.
one copy at our local game store that's been sitting at the top shelf, and like I look at it every time, and I'm like, maybe next time.
Well,
This
it's
is
funny. We
confession.
actually had. Sorry, go ahead, Bryce.
Oh, this is confession time for us, or for me at least. Last time Allison confessed to not liking ugly games. I'll confess that I judge Camel Up to be like a kids-looking game, and I just have never been interested in playing it.
I like how the 2nd edition looks. The 1st edition, I'm like,
You got to play the 2nd, yeah.
Yeah, we
But
actually had someone
I
who
just
isn't
need-
even. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just said I just need to play it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
give it a
I'll like
try. It's easy to judge it. Even when we were at a board game cafe, and a friend of mine who doesn't play any games, he's from another country, never really understood really the concept of gaming, and he picked that game out of all of these games at this board game cafe. It just spoke to him. He pulled that thing out, and Nick goes, "All right, yeah, we'll give that a shot." So I think that really speaks to its maybe its gateway nature, that for some reason maybe the art appeals to some folks and they go, "Oh, camel racing."
Our number 3 is our first crossover with you guys.
Okay.
It is Tiny Towns.
Woo!
Nice.
Cool.
So I think it's just a very approachable game. It's not too hard to play, but there's so much strategy of like, all the thinking and how you want to like put things together. And I feel like the more you play it, the more you can kind of get into that strategy. But it's super easy. You just put down a cube and put down another cube, make a building, and there you go. But but like I've enjoyed it, and especially with the AEG streams that they've been doing for the past several months during the quarantine and all that. I've been playing it on and off during those, and it's been really fun to like play that, and also to kind of get the scoop from like the designer of the game playing it and different strategies. So it's a game that's super easy to introduce to people and can delve deep into the strategy of how you want to build the best town.
And I will be honest, the first like 3 or 4 times I played this game, I hated it. I was like, I never want to play this again. But playing it with the AEG live streams and then trying some different variants or trying the expansions, like it's definitely grown on me a lot.
The expansion, the Tiny Towns Fortune, I like that it has a way to mitigate some of the calls. So if you like super really do not want stone, there's something you can do to change it.
Oh,
So
that's
if you want
interesting.
something to mitigate, I recommend the expansion for it too.
Nice.
So our number 3 is Lords of Waterdeep. We think that it's a great introduction to worker placement, also resource collection in a way, because you need to get the cubes. You look at the card and it's very straightforward. You just tell when you're explaining the game, you say, so you got a card, it's going to tell you what you need. Also, it's not really hidden information. There is some element, but you can see what other people are working on. So that's another thing that's helpful for people who are learning how to play games, is that there's not a lot of information that they can't see, so they can ask questions to you. It's not going to be the end of the world for them to say, what does this spot do, or what does this card do, or what am I trying to collect here? So I think it's a lot of fun, and it also does have that secret element where everyone likes like a little secret or something that they have to themselves, where they are knowing that they're going for skullduggery or they're going for different elements and different types of cards. And I think it's a good introduction. We brought it over to people who don't play games on the regular at all, and they had a good time, and it didn't take too long to play.
Yeah, you can take or leave the theme. A lot of people aren't going to be interested in Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're with a group that's not interested, say the theme, it can be pasted on. It doesn't matter what the theme is in this game. If they are interested in Dungeons and Dragons, well, this game is about Dungeons and Dragons.
That's our pick for number 3.
We haven't played that one actually. I've heard of it a lot, but just never tried it.
Takes up a lot of table space too. It's a big,
The expansions,
with the expansions and stuff. So it does have a bit of a commanding presence. It could be a little intimidating, maybe, but once you get explaining it, I think that intimidation factor goes away.
Go here, get this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. You should try it.
Yep.
One day.
So our number 2 is a racing game / deck building game, and this is the Quest for El Dorado. So you have a small hand of cards that allows you to move across the board, and you're trying to get to the end, the finish line. As you do so, you can get coins and pay for new cards that help you get farther or do different things. So it's a really fun little racing game. It's an interesting little deck building game without getting too bogged down in just the deck building aspect of it. So
Another classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So our pick for number 2 is Mansions of Madness, the 2nd edition. First off, it has an app, and the app really helps guide the order of play. So you just kind of follow the prompts as it pops up. And it's fun to get to have different asymmetrical powers that the characters will have, where you can do different things depending on your character, have different items in your hand, and work together to solve a mystery. And I think that that's a lot of fun for people to not be against each other. It's a good cooperative game. And there is a really cool part where you can go insane, or you could have different ailments, or I've got a broken leg, a broken arm, and I'm crazy. And then all of a sudden you're setting fire to rooms in the house. And people are, why is Victoria setting fire to every single room? And then you reveal at the end that that's a win condition for you because you've gone insane, and that is a way to win the game. Suddenly, is every room has to be on fire. What? So there's some interesting stuff.
Do you end up being the insane one a lot? Because it sounds like personal experience.
Yeah, you want to bring it up again.
Yeah, I am always crazy. But no, it's a lot of fun. We love the app, and we like just the quality of the miniatures are really cool. It's a lot of fun to lose. Even if you lose, you feel like you had a good experience anyway. So I think it's easy to bring people into. It's not very difficult in terms of rules. So
this is the easy Cthulhu game, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played it one time and we had a lot of fun with it. And I think that was kind of on our short list for one of the options too.
Yeah.
It made my list. It didn't make her list. And then when we negotiated it down, it just didn't make it.
That was the same for us. I don't think, Nick, you had it.
It didn't make my list, but it was on my short list for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So number 1 is Architects of the West Kingdom.
There it
So
is.
we love worker placement games, and this is a worker placement game that is not too complicated. Yes, there's lots of different choices and things going on, but overall the play of the game and the strategy of the game is pretty simple. And also it doesn't hurt that it's a really beautiful looking game.
Mhm.
So it has lots of different things from gaming that I think kind of encompasses like a perfect little like semi introductory game. And it's just a solid game to have in your collection to start off with. So there's worker placement, and there's also a little bit of like set collecting, and you're managing resources. And so, yeah.
And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you have some asymmetrical player powers that you can use if you want to. You don't have to, but
we agree.
Mhm.
Very good game. I think if you're gonna play a couple of like Stone Age or Lords of Waterdeep, that's probably your next step right there. It's Architects. It's a very good game. All four of us
Mhm.
really enjoy it. Number one for us, it made my list is number one. So Vic, her number one is actually Manchester Madness. So our 1 and 2 were each other's ones. Number one for us is Shadows over Camelot. So
Sorry, continue.
so this one is like the very first, it feels like it's the godfather of hidden traders. It's the godfather of the modern board game with production. It's cooperative, except there could be a hidden trader. Very easy to explain. It's using concepts you know about. You're not really playing like, you know, concepts like a full house, but you're not really holding a set of cards. It's a full house. You're playing them out there. People can mess that up if they're a trader, maybe. There's things that can hide away. There's different things. You just explain to everyone what you're doing and make sure that the trader's going to be comfortable. If you happen to the first player that it's their first time playing, that they'll be comfortable being the trader. Make sure everyone's going to be comfortable with the rules. It's not difficult to explain. Super fun. I love this one. And what did you want to add about that?
This was on my list, and I was like, this has to be on the list. It is such a classic game, and it has different elements, and you're all working together, and like the trader aspect. And every time that we've played it, we've just had a good experience, especially when someone could be a trader. Like you don't know if someone is, and it just gets ridiculous where it's like, I could do this, but if I'm the trader, and so it's just obnoxious people to play it with, and it's just fun and a classic to me.
it did make our short list, but it just didn't make the list.
It just worked so well. Every time we've introduced it to people, like, you know, in their head that they want it. They think, next time we come back, I want to play that game again.
Yeah.
I can tell. I can see their eyes. I can read their soul. They love the game. And you can tell they're just glowing about the game. There's like, wow, I've never seen a game like that. So that's how it just jumped all these other games for me. I'm like, everyone loves this game. I love this game. Put the number one for me. Great.
I don't love when you're the trader, though.
Yeah. I like either way, whatever.
He's too good at being a trader. Makes you wonder.
Huh. Honorable mention time.
Okay, so some of mine have already been mentioned, but so Shadows over Camelot was my honorable mention, and I already explained that. And I had like basically 5 other ones, but I'll just tell you one. And I picked Forbidden Desert. I had picked Forbidden Desert over Pandemic because it's just a little bit easier to, enter into. But it's a fun game, and it goes pretty quick. And what's a better way to spend time with your friends than starve in the desert?
Yeah.
And for me, the reason why I picked Pandemic over Forbidden Desert was just Pandemic, in my opinion, has a little more replayability, kind of a little more longevity than Forbidden Desert does.
That's true.
So that's why I would want it in a collection if I had to just choose between the two of them.
And that's why we went with Pandemic.
Okay.
So my 2 honorable mentions, Clank in Space was kind of my backup for that race / deck building kind of genre. It does get a little more complicated than the Road to El Dorado, or the Quest for El Dorado. And then my other game was Dixit.
Which is funny that it's on his list because I always loved Dixit more than he did, but anyway.
That's a good one.
I like that game because it's a good introductory game for people that like apples to apples or, those types of games. And I just think it's really cool with the artwork and just things you can imagine to say or to signal what cards you want.
True.
You always get someone saying, "This is a really weird picture," or "What is this?" Or
My favorite thing with the game, though, is especially in the rules where it says, like, you can say a sentence or whatever, a limerick, or do an interpretive dance. And I always make sure to say that they can do an interpretive dance. A few times, someone has taken me up on that advice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So I'll start with my honorable mentions. Raptor. I enjoy that as a 2-player gateway game. I think it was great. I brought it over to a friend of mine's house, and it was a bonus because she really likes dinosaurs. So right away, she loved to move around the little pieces, and we took turns being a scientist or a raptor mama. So you get to choose your different abilities, and they do different things. So each player gets a different chance to see, like, well, wow, this is an interesting game because it's a cat and mouse game. So people are familiar with that. And it's card driven. So people don't have to come up with actions on their own. That way they can just do what the card says. There's a great reference sheet that explains exactly what their character is going to do and what they're trying to accomplish. So I like Raptor for that reason, and I had it as an honorable mention. My next honorable mention is Ghost Stories. Nick and I have struggled many nights playing this game, and usually when we play, we have not played with more than 2 players yet.
I've played a few times with more.
Oh, you have,
Nate,
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nate, yeah.
Well, him
But
and
yeah,
I,
we played too, yeah.
we played together. We usually controlled 2 ninjas at once, or are they samurai? What are they?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, 2 characters at a time, so that we're actually playing 4, because we just get beat down in this game. This game is a challenge, and we enjoy the challenge. We also had the expansion for it as well, and we had a lot of fun with it on nights that we feel like being demoralized. So we picked that game as a good 2-player game, but you can play with other player counts as well. It's up to 4. Another one, finally, we were in Las Vegas when we encountered this Quacks of Quedlinburg at the Meepleville board game cafe. And it was a fun bag builder. We haven't really, and Nick maybe can correct me, we haven't really played that many bag building games.
Not that many.
Not that many. And it was interesting to me to get, there's a lot of luck to it, but I think it's very easy to teach. And it is kind of a fun push your luck, where you're trying to draw ingredients from the bag, improve what's in your bag, and it's easy to explain. So a lot of fun with Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can only think of Hyperborea and Orleans.
Yeah.
Bag building. Right off the top of my head, I'm sure we played more, but
Mhm.
mine, really quickly, I'll breeze through them. Mine are lighter. I think they're the lighter ones on my list. Ticket to Ride, a classic, just made it off my list. Really fun. Vic hadn't played it, so it didn't make the list. Wits and Wagers, yeah, I know Vic hasn't played it. That's kind of weird.
I'm crazy.
Wits and Wagers, another one, great. It's just a great party game. You got to try it if you haven't. It's really fun. And Point Salad, you can get Grandma and Grandpa in the game. This one, this is a really good one to explain. Very fun. Doesn't leave anyone out. You can explain this to an 8-year-old. You can explain to a 90-year-old. It's very good.
That one was on my list originally, but then we went with Sushi Go Party instead.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. There we go. There's a bunch of games to check out if you're trying to build a collection. It's been great having you guys join us for these. Appreciate that. Check them out. That's Better Half Reviews. You got to check those guys out. They do reviews and they do playthroughs. They do Kickstarter. They do all kinds of stuff. Way more than us. Well,
Yeah,
guys.
it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Until next time, have fun gaming.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.